We are back with another reaction video for you today. 10 wrestling secrets accidentally revealed on WWE TV. I haven't made a reaction video in a long time. I don't know why I'm talking like this. Let's get straight into it. I got my... Drew McIntyre just went through a table.
10 WWE wrestlers who exposed a big secret on camera. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos, and follow us on Facebook for exclusive clips. Number 10, Kevin Owens. And whenever a wrestler is set to bleed in a match, there are numerous ways this can be achieved. A wrestler could use a blood capsule, but this is often messy and sometimes looks quite fake. This can be done well, that's if the camera doesn't pick up on it, and best results are usually when the wrestler uses the capsule in their mouth. Take for instance when Rey Mysterio sold the Great Khali's vice grip by using a blood capsule. It looked incredibly effective.
Why didn't I ever think of that? That Rey Mysterio used a blood capsule. Well, this was a big thing that happened on freaking. I always want to say Andre the Giant, the Great Khali. He did this, bro. I forgot he did this. It was crazy. Everybody's going crazy off of
this. In fact, this image really scarred a lot of children when they were young. Our wrestler can be opened up the hard way, which means that the wrestler will legitimately be cut open during the match. This is sometimes done via a stiff strike or even a ring post. However, the more common way is via a razor blade, as a wrestler will then slice their forehead with a small incision.
That was noticeable.
And the small cut will mix with the sweat on the head to create the famous crimson mask. Now, the razor blade is usually hidden in the wrestler's wrist tape, or sometimes the referee for the matchup keeps it until it's time for the wrestler to blade.
Hey, if you're not paying attention, that's kind of slick. You can't really pay attention. If you're not paying attention to like the referee and like what they're doing, like if you look, you're not gonna notice it.
Circumstances when the wrestler is then ready to gig, the referee will then discreetly hand it over to them.
Like, look,
At the 2025 Elimination Chamber event, Kevin Owens was set to bleed during his match versus Sami Zayn.
Imagine if he bled during this, bro. I think, bro, this is one of the best. This is, I think it was the barbed wire. It was like one of the barbed wires.
Owens would legitimately drop the razor blade in the ring. This was actually visible on screen, and this meant that WWE were forced to abandon the blading elements that were scripted in the match.
That would have been a 10.
Now, thankfully, the lack of blood didn't take away from the match, as the match received universal praise from fans and critics alike.
5-star match. That could have been a fucking 10.
Michael Cole has a key job in WWE, as his role is to guide the audience through the match, as well as direct information from the backstage area to fans at home. Well, sometimes Cole's commentary has been called out for being overly scripted. This was especially the case when Vince McMahon used to bark orders at him through his headset. Infamously, at WrestleMania 32, Cole could be seen reading from the script during The Undertaker vs. Shane McMahon. And
that's what they always have, those papers. So that's what I was wondering. Like, they always have those papers. What is really on the papers? Are they? I feel like fudge. I feel like there's a lot of, like, Pat McAfee, I feel like he goes off script. Like, he don't care about the script. But there's some stuff that he doesn't really know about WWE, so he has to be like, he has to read off a script. But I think most of the time he's not.
Completely took fans watching at home out of the moment. The moment would have been 10 times better had Cole just shouted out what he just seen, such as JR's infamous commentary at 1998's King of the Ring. Obviously, the blame doesn't fall on Cole, as it would have been McMahon that insisted that Cole stick to the script word for word, and he would have been seriously reprimanded if he dared deviate away. But now things are a lot different in WWE. Without the presence of Vince McMahon in Cole's headset, commentary is less scripted. However, that doesn't mean that the commentary team have to stick to
why is Kaisen out here? What is happening with Pat McAfee, Triple H, and Michael Cole?
Do some sort of script. Let's fast forward to 2025, and Cole's conversation with Triple H was leaked thanks to WWE not muting the commentary audio during a commercial, as the commercials would air differently from the UK to the US. This took place at Saturday night's main event, and whilst it exposed the business somewhat, it was reassuring to hear how relaxed and eased Cole sounded during his talk with the boss. Number 8, Randy Orton.
Did I show it?
Now, in
I think I do remember it, though.
A clip of Randy Orton went viral, and for good reason. Following an episode of Raw in 2014, a video surfaced of Orton asking a production member if Raw was off the air. Once the production team member informed Orton that WWE were indeed off the air, Orton stopped selling immediately and acted like nothing had just happened. Now, the footage
Hey, he still got up though and act like he was hurt.
It was captured by numerous fans in attendance, and it definitely broke the illusion of a beaten down pro wrestler for a lot of younger fans in attendance. Now, if this was a newer member of the WWE roster, then they likely would have been punished
Why would he
for
do
this.
that so
Due to Orton's
noticeably?
tenured status, it was probably laughed off backstage. Number 7, Paul Heyman. Now, even when WWE presented unscripted shows such as Talking Smack, Vince McMahon was still heavily directing what the talent said and did, and this was confirmed thanks to Paul Heyman in 2020. In 2020, Heyman appeared on Talking Smack, and he accidentally revealed a memo from McMahon on camera which stated, "Identify all consequences if Roman loses per Vince."
Identify all consequences if Roman loses per Vince. And they literally just have that.
Vince. McMahon would have been absolutely livid that this was caught on camera, especially as WWE were insisting that these types of shows weren't scripted in any capacity. Number 6, Austin Theory. Up until 2022, there was a ton of debate around what was inside the Money in the Bank briefcase.
Yeah.
Was there a legitimate contract inside? Did wrestlers store personal items? Well, no, it turned out that the briefcase was completely empty.
That was the thing about the briefcase. It was completely empty, but I remember there was always like a little paper inside the briefcase though. I always thought there was a paper inside.
Now, this was seen on Raw in 2022 as Austin Theory's Money in the Bank briefcase would fly right open and the lack of contents would be exposed to the entire world, as there wasn't even a contract inside the briefcase itself. Now, this wasn't exactly Theory's fault, but it was within WWE lore that the Money in the Bank briefcase was locked and only accessible when the time came in for a cash-in. It was also—
what's the point of the whole briefcase? Like, there should be something like crazy inside of it, not just like a paper inside of a briefcase.
So acceptable within the law that a physical contract paper would be placed inside. However, that was all exposed. Number 5, MVP. Now, the Inferno match is one of the most visually pleasing matches WWE have ever delivered. And it's kind of obvious how WWE keeps the wrestlers safe by limiting any contact with the fire. During an appearance at WrestleFest, MVP would claim that he would wear a flannel suit to protect him during his 2006 Inferno match versus Kane. Working with Kane in the Inferno match was terrifying. They set me on fire, man. I was literally on fire. The cool thing about it was that underneath I had like a flannel suit that was dumped in this like freezing cold gel, and then on top of that I had a dry one, and then the seamstress had to sew the top and bottom together, and then I had the real outfit on top. The gel was so cold that my balls were like up in my stomach, but when it came time to do the match and he set me on fire, that helped out a lot. Now, some may say that MVP was exposing the business here, but a wrestler detailing how a stunt was performed almost 2 decades prior isn't going to shake things up too much in the grand scheme of things.
Really is on fire, though.
Randy Orton, Black Goo. Similarly to blood capsules, mist capsules are placed in the mouth at the last second. These are usually hidden on the wrestler's body, or sometimes the referee will keep a hold of it. Randy Orton, despite being a legend, wasn't the best at
I always wondered how they always got the capsules to those little
disguising it when he had to use a capsule for the black liquid during his feud with The Fiend, as he would often be seen putting the capsule in his mouth just seconds before the spot was done. This also goes for Alexa Bliss as well.
That's kind of sneaky though, I'm not gonna lie.
Rules, Charlotte Flair would destroy Alexa Bliss's beloved Lily doll, and this caused Alexa to go into a full-on meltdown. She would then head up to the stage area, clutching the doll in her hand, but then went into a hypnotic state of rage, foaming from the mouth. Now, those who watch carefully could see Alexa Bliss putting an Alka-Seltzer tablet in her mouth. This would literally lead to the visual effect of her foaming at the mouth. Yeah, kinda looked goofy, didn't it? Number 3, Mick Foley. Now, the Buried Alive match has always been a match type that has fascinated fans. Due to the real risk within the match, WWE is to make sure the match is executed to perfection. For the match to go down safely, they will usually involve multiple wrestlers in the match, and for the actual grave, they will traditionally incorporate a trap door. According to WWE Hall of Famer Mick Foley during an interview with Inside the Ropes, when the initial Buried Alive match went down, there was a little safety precautions in place, and he was legitimately gasping for air. He pulled me out of that grave, and I'm not acting when I come out of there gasping for breath after 17 minutes of hard work and being buried alive.
Damn, so you're really in there, buried, and you can't breathe. Damn. That is really crazy. And you were just in a match.
Now we have to figure out how to fill a 6 foot by 8 foot by 4 foot hole with earth in 5 minutes of TV time.
With earth?
But there's a reason why every subsequent Buried Alive match has had a backhoe to simply push the earth in there. And Foley would also reveal that the initial Buried Alive match utilized the aforementioned second shelf. It's me and the Executioner, and then John Bradshaw Layfield comes to help, and Triple H as well. Slowly but surely we're covering that earth, and at a certain point they did a magician's switcheroo, where the live body went into the underground layer, and then they brought out a secondary shelf that was filled with earth. Now in 2003, WWE would also accidentally show another added secret to the match. During the match between Vince McMahon and The Undertaker, fans could see the dead man using the shovel in the grave, likely using it to access the trapdoor underneath.
No
the next
way.
time the camera panned to the grave, The Undertaker was selling, but the shovel had mysteriously disappeared. It was likely that WWE weren't expecting The Undertaker to be standing upright when the digging was being done. This must have led to a ton of commotion backstage. Number 2, Drew McIntyre and Sheamus. Now in a traditional Royal Rumble match, there's usually a lot of downtime where wrestlers are just selling.
Why is Baron Corbin not on the main roster?
In the corner. At the 2023 Royal Rumble, Sheamus and Drew McIntyre exposed this by having a casual chat whilst they were supposed to be selling. The camera picked this up in clear view, and this moment led to a ton of discourse online. Rumble matches are filled with wrestlers just having a chat or zoning out. Another instance was at the 2008 Rumble, when CM Punk was marking out over Roddy Piper and Jimmy Snuka. They proceeded to have a chat with John Morrison before Morrison remembered that the two were in a blood feud just a few months prior. And number 1, Tucker. One of the main talking points coming out of the 2020 Hell in a Cell pay-per-view was the fact that Tucker had exposed to the world that WWE promos are scripted. The pay-per-view featured The Miz capturing the Money in the Bank briefcase by defeating Otis. The match featured a notable heel turn from Tucker, who turned.
What was the reason for this? But this was horrible, and Tucker didn't do shit with it.
And on his best friend, ending the Heavy Machinery tag team. Following this, Miz and John Morrison would take part in a backstage interview when suddenly they would be interrupted by Tucker. Tucker noticeably had his promo script in hand, and when he realized this, he hilariously threw it to the side. Tucker was clearly hoping that nobody would notice, but this was WWE in the year 2020, so fans could just rewind the clip.
I know, but if you're not paying attention, you can't.
Tucker was drastically moved down the card as all the blame fell on him for exposing one of the most fundamental elements of how WWE operated at the time. But there you have it, folks. 10 WWE wrestlers.
Alright, that was WrestleMania.